Greetings, grasshoppers. Good day to you. This is RJ Redden, and here with the bot signal. Today, we're going to talk about something that is not GDPR related. Now, I also invite you during this show to just make the GDPR emails into a sip your favorite beverage game, okay? Every time you get one of those during this show, feel free to sip a favorite beverage. If that beverage contains alcohol, try not to be wasted by the end of the show. We're all getting a lot of those emails. I'm not sending any today. I'm grateful for that. But yeah, that GDPR stuff is a lot of fun. Hey, if you missed Tuesday's show, I talk a lot about why it's important and how to protect your bot if you have one already. So refer back to that or ping me if you need something. Teresa's here. I'll be listening in the car. Fantastic. I'll drive in to get your haircut. Awesome. I'm grateful to be your entertainment along your ride. And so, on to our topic today. We're going to talk about humanizing your bot. It is super important, my friends, to make your bot not necessarily a human. A lot of people, when they first got into bots, they started pretending that the bot was actually them. And then people seem to get really confused and disappointed. And then we're like, what, am I subscribed to something now? There was a lot of confusion. So we're not talking about pretend that the bot is actually you. And in fact, most of the time, in most of the ways you can get into my chatbot, Spinning Dragon is my little avatar. If you don't know who Spinning Dragon is, she's right there. She's up in the upper corner there. She's the cutest little ninja you'll ever find. But Spinning Dragon will introduce herself as my chatbot. And if you don't want to use the word bot, it's fine too. Use assistant. Use app. Some of my people use app. Whatever you want to use there to kind of take it so that people don't believe that it's actually you. But you do want it when you write this thing, when you craft this, make the tone of it human, make it personal. Please, for the love, do not sound like a legal document. Please do not sound like overly salesy marketing material. Remember, a bot is about conversation and connection. It's about making connections with people one conversation at a time. Jason's here. Now we're having a great time. Welcome, Jason. Glad to see you today. And so when you're crafting this bot, how do you humanize it? There's a lot of different ways to add personality. There's a lot of tips to know when you're writing. The biggest tip that I have, and we'll get to the specific thing in a minute, but the biggest tip I have is always, you are not getting subscribers. You are opening conversations with people. However many people you have in your bot right now, that's who you have an open conversation with. Think of it that way. Think about sitting across from somebody at a party, getting to know them, or furthering that relationship. It is vital to have that perspective. It's a little bit of a shift, right? Most of the time when we are thinking about growing our tribe, we're thinking about getting subscribers. That number is all important. Let me tell you, unless you're having conversations with those people, unless they know who you are, then it's not really going to be very worth it to you. I know different bot marketers think differently, but that is totally my perspective and what I'm going forward on. Aaron says, hey, RJ, love that the bots can be human. And I will go you one further. Not only can they be, I think that they must. I think that reaching out to people, creating connections with them and having real conversations, instead of just, hey, look what I'm doing now, or hey, buy my stuff. That's the core of what we're doing here. That's the core of the tribe that we want to create. So, very good. So think about it that way. Have that perspective shift. don't think about it like closing a sale. Think about it like opening a conversation always. And if you let that kind of guiding principle help you along the way, then you'll make the right decisions. So the one way that I'm going to talk about humanizing your bot today, and I don't know who has this already, but it's just adding a button in the menu that will allow somebody to talk to a human. I know. What have I just said? What can of worms am I opening now? But having a button that will allow people, if they hit it, to be able to ask a question or talk to a human being, that is an excellent way to add a personal experience to the bot. Here's why. Because you've got no idea how much people know about your topic already. I have people coming into my bot that absolutely don't know what a bot is. I have people who have had one for a while and would like to fix it. I have all kinds of education levels of people coming into my bot. I've got people coming in that are absolutely scared of technology. I also have people who are people who just do technology all the time and market for themselves all the time and know the ins and outs. So how do you create a message that's going to cover all those education levels and all of those tech knowledge levels and all of the, how are you going to write a bot that covers everybody at every level? Let me tell you something, and please do remember this. If you remember nothing else from the show today, you're not going to be able to write that bot. You'd have to write 7 billion different versions, and darlings, your time is worth more than that. The way that I do it is I write things to a certain level, and then I have this fallback, this talk to a human fallback. And it's really nice. ManyChat lets you set an alert in the background when anybody, and mine, in my bot, it's called Summon RJ. I'm a little quirky. It's totally the way I talk. So mine, you can summon me anytime by hitting that button. And when people hit that, then it gives me an alert in the background that says, hey, somebody needs to talk to you. Right away, automatically a message appears to my folks that says, hey, RJ will be here as soon as she can. It doesn't say RJ will be here in 3 seconds because sometimes, I'm working or I'm doing a show, doing those things. So I'm not setting the expectation that I will be immediately on fire right there. But I do say as soon as she can. You can add a sentence about, hey, I'll be back to you within 24 hours. I'll be back to you. Usually I answer these questions in the morning when I get up. So, expect an answer tomorrow morning or whatever the expectation is you want to set. You don't have to set it for right now. And in fact, you'll just be driven crazy if there's a lot of people in your bot hitting that button at the same time. So be sure to set expectations clearly and in a reasonable amount of time. Usually 24 is pretty much good enough. Aaron says, a button in the middle to what? Talk to a human. I know, right? So it is a brilliant idea because here's the thing. Sometimes people have been internet stalking you for a while. And when they get subscribed to your chatbot, when they get in there, maybe they don't want to hear about your free mini course. Maybe they don't want to hear about, maybe they know all that stuff is going on already and they just want to straight up talk to you or ask you a question. Are you going to put them through a bunch of stuff that they already know or don't really want to hear? Absolutely not. You're going to give them an option to summon you. And create those good expectations so you're not constantly chasing your messenger. That is, to me, it's just one of the simplest things that you can do is just add a button on your menu. For my folks, that's something we usually add pretty quick. And it just allows people to, cut the stuff, right? Long time ago in a land so far from here, probably about 2 miles down the road, I was a telemarketer. Yes, forgive me. I had to make money during college somehow. Anyway, I was a telemarketer. We had a script that we had to go through every time we got a hold of somebody. And one of the guys that was sitting across from me actually just had a guy, and this guy was kind of rude. This guy just interrupted him and said, "Cut the crap and just give me 24 months." And it was kind of a moment. This guy, because you're a telemarketer, you get yelled at all day, right? That's your job basically, and probably worse now than it was umpteen years ago when I was doing it to get through college. But what are you going to do for the people that just they don't want to hem haw around? They're busy people. They just want some stuff. They just want to know something. So the Talk to Human button is an excellent way to serve those people without having to serve up a bunch of things that they don't need. Because who all is tired of getting stuff they don't need, information they don't need, emails they don't need? Probably every single one of us. I know I am. This is a great way to shortcut that experience and just answer the questions that people want to know, and I've had several people do this. People will get on and say, "Hey, I know you build bots. Do you do this for people? Or, hey, I know you do this. Do you do this? Or, what's a bot?" Or, even those types of things. In my bot, I can totally put them down a sequence of the what's a bot. I don't, that's something that we can do, but people feel good when somebody gets back to them. Also, junk mail and snail mail. I will say this, Aaron Strayer, I did get in the mail a thank you note from one of the nicest people in the whole world, who may be listening right now. Gail, love you. Thank you for that thank you note. A handwritten thank you note. And it just made my freaking day. So snail mail can be good sometimes, like once a year. Anyway, back to the Talk to the Human button. You also don't know how much folks know about you already. As I said, maybe they've been watching you for a while. Maybe they've been listening to you. If you've got a podcast, you know that you don't get any information from the folks who are listening to your podcast on iTunes or, wherever they listen to podcasts. You get the fact that they have downloaded your stuff. That's what you get. And so, people judge themselves by those numbers, but it could be somebody who's been listening to you for a while that wants to ask a question. So, and don't be afraid that people are going to abuse this. Listen, sometimes it takes a lot to get people to participate in anything. If you've ever planned an event, you know exactly what I'm saying. But just putting that there, listen, if they never hit that, they still know they can summon me in their pocket. They still know that. They still know that there's an offer out there on the table all the time for you to come talk to me. And that's just, that's something that makes people feel good. That makes people feel good about having your bot. So I've been working on a lot of people's bots. And by the way, if you have a question, drop it in the comments for me. I am here to answer questions. And if it's not about, this specific topic, humanizing your bot, that's totally fine. Throw it in there. Would love to answer your questions. But when you have those options in there, when you have, I call it the choose your own adventure package, when you have ways that people of differing education levels, different technology levels, because the bot is brand new technology. And when you have people coming in that have different levels of knowledge about you and what you do as a person, putting that catch-all in there, putting that fail-safe, I'll call it, in there of the Talk to Human button is awesome. Now, I've gotten a lot of reports. As we go, it's almost been a year that I've been doing just straight up bots for a living, and it will be forever because I am so obsessed with these things. Anyway, I've received a lot of reports from people, and it's usually when I'm doing a live stream show and somebody will come on and they'll talk about a terrible experience they had with a bot, or people will be talking to me on the phone about their terrible experiences. Yeah, we're having terrible experiences right now. Do you know why? It's the Wild West out there. People are cooking up some pasta noodles, throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks. It is trial and error. It's experimentation. And there's a lot of people out there who will tell people, well, a bot is just like email. It's not. It's helpful to think about your email, especially if you send drip emails of any kind. It's useful to think about that structure in regard to a bot. But please, for the love of whatever you consider holy, don't copy an email and throw it into a bot message. These kinds of things don't work for people. It doesn't work for people because you are on a completely different platform. It's as if you were living in Alaska in the wintertime and somebody showed up at your door with a swimsuit. Not applicable. Unless you're one of those polar bear people, in which there's always an outlier case, isn't there? Anyway, it's the exact same thing when you copy an email and throw it into a bot. That is bot Messenger. People are coming to Messenger to talk to people that they care about, talk to people that they love. Where are we getting together for dinner tomorrow night? What am I bringing for the birthday party? People come to Messenger. They've been looking at that symbol for years, people. You may have just gotten a chatbot, but they've already got a relationship with the little blue cloud and the lightning bolt in it. They have certain expectations when they see their phone buzz with a messenger message. Being within those guidelines, being within that bowling lane of what people expect when they pick up their messenger, you will have much better success with a bot that is written like that and that relates to people like you're having a conversation. So adding that talk to human feature, couldn't say enough about it because it just allows people an out. It just allows people like, yeah, I know you're talking, because I've got a free mini course. When I first started bots, wrote a mini course, didn't take me too long. It's not very in depth, and so it's something that people can kind of wrap their head around what a bot really is. But at first, I sent every single person through that thing because I didn't know any better. But now there are a ton of ways you can get into my chatbot and start having a conversation with me. It is like I often tell people, think about a house. Usually you have, a couple of main doors in, you have your front door and then you have probably a deck door or a downstairs door or something like that to get in your backyard. Fantastic. Now think about a frat house. Think about all of the separate little weird entrances that a frat house has, many, many doors into the house. And some of these entrances I make, the people opt in for the mini course now. They don't get served it automatically. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I want to invite y'all, if you're here, if you're watching, if you want to get on, please do let me know. Let me know in the comments here. I will have you on as a guest and we'll talk about why making a bot human is important. I can talk about it by myself. You've all heard me do it for a long period of time now, but, and I will certainly fill out the rest of the show with me, but I do want to invite guests on today because I think it's important. I want to talk to people about what their experience with bots has been, because now they've been out long enough that people are starting to go, that's a damn bot. I don't want to talk to a bot. Or even worse, how did I get subscribed to this? It's the worst thing you can hear as a bot builder is people are like, am I subscribed to something? What is happening now? You don't want to get in under the radar, people. You want to tell them this is a chat bot. This is what you're going to get. This is the experience I plan for you to have. you want to do those things. Diana says, dang, I didn't put on my face today. Otherwise I'd jump on. Oh, Diana, you're always welcome. And you know that. So I am sad you didn't put your face on today too. Tuesdays, Thursdays, always on. So you can catch me. You can come be a guest anytime if you want. So making your bot human. If you do have any questions for me, Diana, about how to humanize your bot or why to put a talk to human button in, toss it in the comments and I will answer that for you. So make an experience that people love by giving them choices. Do this thing for me, please. You give people choices in a conversation automatically before you even realize you're doing it. It's like blinking your eyes. It is an automatic thing. If you read people's body language and you ask them plenty of questions and give that other person 50% of the floor in a conversation, then you will recognize pretty early what they're interested in and what they want to talk further about. Do this with your bot as well. Ask people questions. When you ask them questions, give them several options to choose from if you can. Because this is something that you're doing all the time. And when people are answering you in real time, if you're talking to somebody and they answer a question, they will typically, use whatever words that are coming into their head. In the bot, it's a little bit different. I need to condense some responses, some typical responses down. And, if I feel like I'm going to get an extra response on top of that, there's always, a place where people can just write their answer. So you do have to do it a little bit differently in a bot, but every one of you has the instincts to have a good conversation with somebody. And so this is how to write your bot. This is how to think about it. Teresa says, I will have a bot before too long, working on the content that it would produce now. Just not ready yet. You know what? Do it when you're ready. It's a process that requires commitment. Not all of the people, I thought everybody kind of realized that, but then I ran into situations with a couple of clients where they were like, well, I was hoping I could just leave this alone and it would produce more. It can, but there are some minimum requirements. There are some, there's a lot of care and feeding, darlings. There's some watering, and paying attention. And, my guideline is 20 minutes a day inside your bot, to make sure everything is working well and that, people are having a good experience and all the questions are being answered and all of that, having those conversations. 20 minutes a day is really kind of the bottom requirement. If you don't have the time to give right now, or if your beginning sequence isn't polished enough, kind of like what you're talking about, I totally, I'm in. I am in with you waiting, because it is an experience. It's like, there's so many social media channels. What do I get on? This is when I was, back doing kind of general marketing IT for people. This is a question I would answer all the time. What channel should I be on? This one looks so easy. I listened to somebody today and this could be, this could be amazing for my business. Yes, but, how busy are you right now? That's a good question, usually to ask. And, what are you doing right now? Is there something that you're willing to give up to take on this new thing? Because unfortunately, and this is very unfortunate, hours will not add into your day just because you picked up a new social media channel. So, bots work amazingly, but bots do not work without you farming it on the other side pretty consistently. Teresa says, that's one of the things I'm still figuring out. I thought it was a one and done until I started following you. I'm afraid I don't have the time to run it. I get you. To me, the benefit of being able to start a conversation with a real person and talk to them, because I'm a real person and you're a real person too. The bot is just a connection mechanism. to me, the benefit of being able to do that instead of the types of marketing that I was doing, which included, I gave email marketing a shot, everybody. Boy, it did not work for me the way that I was doing it. But instead of trying to guess what's in my audience's head, or try to guess what's in, if I'm doing a live stream or a podcast or content like that, or trying to guess what, this is what I do for a living. How do I find the people that need that and talk their language so that they'll, come into my circle? I spent a whole lot of energy doing that stuff, and I was able to trade that time for 20 minutes a day. And it's been a great deal. It's been a great deal for me. So not trying to push you into being ready before you're ready, but if you think about it that way, think about, what is it in your marketing plan right now? Is there anything that's maybe not working? I'm not ashamed to say I try everything under the sun. Why? Because I need to be up on the new crazy stuff. I just do. That is my personality. That's what I help people with. And so, keeping up on that stuff, pretty important thing for me. So I've tried everything. I try stuff that's just coming out. I try stuff that's been here for years. Kim Boltzmann helped me discover an image program that's just like Canva, except better, and you don't have to pay for a pro version. So I'm rolling to that right away. I'm always trying out things. Plenty of things have not worked for me. So if you can look at what you're currently doing, decide maybe there's something you can throw out in favor of spending 20 minutes a day on your bot. Then maybe that's a way to go too. Can't stand email. You and I have had that conversation, darling. We have. It was deep. Here's the thing. I was just talking to a client about that this morning. I don't use my email list very often. I have it. I haven't thrown it out, but I don't use it very often because I want to do a good job. I don't want to just say, hey, everybody, this is what I'm doing now. I don't want to make it about me. I don't want to make my email about that, but it's a difficult way to start a conversation, which is what I really want. Teresa says, I've tried everything too, and at a point where I need to just do what works. Email is not my jam. Yeah. Every once in a while, I had a business coach who said, every 3 months, sit down and examine what's coming out of your bank account for business software, software you use for your business, and throw out what doesn't work and stop paying those people. I can't say I've been on the dot. I can't say that every 3 months I go, I'm supposed to do this again. But every once in a while, I go through and figure out what's not working for me. If I don't do that, I end up spending money and energy in places where it's not getting me buckus. And that is not good. That's not good for people like us. Folks, solopreneurs, working at home, doing our thing, producing awesome stuff for people. It's not good for us to waste our energy, and I don't do it. Don't do it if you can avoid it. So that's kind of what I know. Back to the bottom line. Me. And I heard this on Aaron Strayer's show today. A lady named Kylie was talking about Pinterest. It was a great show. Look up on my page. You will find it because we cross-posted. But she said, Kylie Francis, I think that's what her name was. Me doesn't work in social media. Me especially does not work in a bot. I will tell you, bingo. I know, right? She said that and I was like, I need to immortalize this. If I stitched, I would put it in a sampler and put it on the wall. I don't stitch though. I'll knock my eye out with a knitting needle. I'm not good with those things. Anyway, me does not work, especially in a bot, because that person, you need to give them it's not 100% you and 0% them. If it is, people are so tired. People are so tired of that. They just don't care anymore about it. I want to give something valuable, right? We all do. As solopreneurs, raise your hand if you want to give something valuable. I want to know that it's valuable to people. I want to be able to ask them, what do you find valuable? What do you not find valuable? I want to have a conversation. And in order to have a conversation and not have it be a megaphone experience, you need to allow people 50% of the floor. So it's got to, from the me, which many people are doing and have been taught to do by many other people. Don't be ashamed if you've done this in the past. I certainly have. And I paid real good money for that advice and it didn't work for me. But if you've got a me situation going on, there's no day better than today to change that. There's no day better than today to shift to a different perspective. One where it's a little bit from me, a little bit from you, a little bit from me, a little bit from you. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Can I answer your questions? If not, I've got friends I can refer you to. Are you asking me for something that services I don't provide? Well, sometimes people do ask me for that, but I have a ring of people that I know are awesome professionals to refer them to. Why? I've worked with them before. So, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid for people to hit that summon RJ button, which the talk to human button, that's its name in my bot. I'm not afraid for people to hit that button because that means I have an opportunity. I have an opportunity to get to know somebody. And that's really important for me. Jim. Hello, Jim. Just learning about bots. Where should I go to learn the basics? Well, my friend, if you go to checkoutmybot.com, that has on it, that will lead you right to my bot. And you'll be able to take a free 7-day mini course. And it just is a little teacup of information per day on what bots are, what they can do for you, the software you need to build this stuff, and what you need to know to jump into that. So made it a 7-day experience. I know that's a little long for bots, for sequences sometimes, but there really is a lot of information. So jump into that bot, and if you just want to shortcut the mini course and ask me some questions, hit summon RJ in the bot, or schedule a call. Both those buttons are down below, and you'll be able to get a hold of me pretty quickly. I'll answer whatever questions you have. Half hour of your time. That's all it needs. So very good. And I did want to talk to you as well about an experience that a client shared with me. This was just yesterday. I was talking to somebody, and what this person was saying, was that what they really wanted, to see from bots, because this person was like, this thing seems to be a hot marketing tool. Let's investigate. And so kind of signed up for a bunch of these things. And the experience that she had was largely negative because every single time the broadcast that she was getting over time, if she were to kind of look in her messenger at these broadcasts, they were all the same, basically. They had different words, but what they were saying over and over again was, hey, I'm doing something new. Want to hear about it? Hey, I've got a product. Want to hear about it? If you had a conversation with somebody and you called them on the phone and you always start out with, hey, I've got some new stuff. You want to hear about it? You're going to get hung up on. You know what I'm saying? People, it's not the secret pipeline to get into people's brains. It's not that at all. It's a way to open a conversation with somebody that is much more direct than any other thing that we have out there right now. Live streaming is the closest, right? You can ask me a question right in the comments, and I will answer it for you live. You can ask me a question. If you're watching this on the replay and you've got a question, Type your question in there. I got these comments. I will support them after the show. All good. So in that way, you can certainly get some input from people. But there are two people who will not jump in on a live stream either as a guest or in the comments. And they are, their names are Shy and Busy. You know what I'm saying? Some people put me on in the background. Some people put a lot of Facebook Live shows on in the background. I know that I do that while I'm working quite a bit because there are a lot of people that I support out there and want to learn from and want to be a part of their circle. So I'll put them on in the background, and occasionally I'll comment and chat because I ain't shy, if you've noticed. Anyway, but there are a lot of people who are never going to put that question forth because they're just shy about it. They don't want to ask a question on a public forum. They don't want to, here's the thing. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're like me out there getting business, talking to people, you don't want people to know you don't know. So you don't want to expose that fact by asking a question all the time on a live stream. So we've got the one type of personality that's most of the people that is just shy about asking a question in a public space. And then you've got Busy. These are the people. These are the people you give stuff to get it done because you know it'll get done because they're busy people. They are zipping around doing the things, and the priority for typing something into your show is maybe just not there right now. Maybe it's because they're getting a whole lot of business, which is awesome. But ask the same questions in a bot. Invite people to have an opportunity to ask those same questions in a bot, and they'll find the time because they can do it on their own time. And it's a private deal. It's one-to-one conversation. Nobody's going to see this question. I do not have a virtual assistant. Nobody else is going to see this stuff from me. So you can feel comfortable looking like a dork all you want because I'm a dork too. So that totally makes everything right. Jim says, try doing in-person seminars. Oh yeah. Ask for your questions and get none. Then when you're done, you have a line of people asking questions. Oh, Jim. I know. Here's one for you. I get this every fall when I teach up at the university. I teach a course called IT for Development. I'm teaching people who are deep computer people, computer science folks, pocket protectors sometimes. You know what I'm saying? People who are steeped in geek. I teach them how to communicate with humans, people who are running businesses, so that they know how the way they write code affects somebody on the, there's a human on the other end of that code that you're affecting by what you're doing. And it helps students connect, right? So great idea, isn't it? Everybody I tell says, that's a wonderful idea. It is a wonderful idea. I will go through the entire assignment and then I'll say, does anybody have any questions? And then they all just shake their head like, yeah, we want to get on with this thing. Under 2 minutes, and somebody is at my desk asking something that I just said. I know what you mean. Listen, Jim, in-person seminars can be greatly enhanced by a bot because people are having the same problem. They don't want to ask a question in front of other people, but if they just save the question, and just ask it later on, then it'll be one-on-one. It won't be in front of a whole crowd of people. The tough thing is, are you going to how long do you plan to stand in line and answer these questions? The tough thing is, all of those people want to have a private conversation with you now. What if there were a place that they could just do that? And they don't have to, then you'll still get people coming up to you afterward, but there's an opportunity for people to connect with you way long outside that extra 15 minutes, half an hour you're standing there. People can get a hold of you when they want to. Bots can enhance speaking engagements a lot. And I've talked about that before, but, if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about that, Jim, I'll turn that into a topic for next week and we'll talk about it. How you can use a bot to enhance that speaking experience. People work so hard to get speaking experiences. They work so hard. And then the tough thing is, they're up there, they're delivering gold to whoever is in attendance, if it's live streamed, to whoever's watching the live stream, but they don't get a chance to connect with the people in the audience. And yeah, bots can really do that. Bots can also, enhance the speaking experience, and the people can submit their questions ahead of time. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not going to drop all of that in this session. We're talking about talk to a human and humanizing your bot. And yeah, Jim has given me a thumbs up. So I think that's permission to have a show on how a bot can enhance your speaking experience. So we will do that next week, Jim. So again, this humanizing thing is important because you have no idea who these people are who are getting into the bot. You have no idea. They could be people who have a lot of education, but don't have any education in bots. They could have, middling education and be really good at tech and be brand new at bots. They could be an old hand at bots and just want to ask another professional a question. It could be anything. So the way you cover all those situations is you write the bot as normal, and then you have this fail-safe at the talk to human button. And again, you set that so that when somebody hits that button, it gets a hold of you in the background, so that you're alerted that someone wants to talk, and it comes back and says, great, I've summoned RJ. She'll get to you as soon as she can. You set that expectation. That you're not going to come running, but you'll get there within the next 24 hours. That seems to sit pretty well with people. And then you can have a conversation, which is, that's what I really want to do with my clients. I really want to have a conversation. I started something a while back. It was called One Convo a Day. And it's all about having at least one conversation a day that either furthers a relationship or it starts one up. If I can have lots and lots of relationships with people, that's what I'm really seeking, because then I'll get the clients I need. I will also be able to refer out to other people, other trusted people. And that's a dream, that's a dream for a small biz owner. I was in a meeting the other day of one of the circles that I'm in, and we were talking about networking and connecting and doing all of those fabulous things. And we were talking about how sick of the normal we all are with that kind of stuff. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a network of people that you were referring out you weren't just referring out because their name is on a list or they're part of this group somewhere? I used to be involved in a group that shall remain completely nameless. No worries, everybody. But it was very regular. It was one of those things you pay $300 or so. You get to go to a meeting once a week and tell these 12 or so people what you do. You get involved in the larger network. And that's all nice, but basically there's no qualification to see if you are a person who follows up on your promises, who does what you say you're going to do. So I want to grow my circle, not just because I will get business out of it, which I inevitably will, but I'll be able to refer people who I know do what they say they're going to do, whom I've personally worked with or had personal association with. And that just lights my fire, because we have all referred people who have done a bad job. We've all done this. And it's, never a pleasant experience for anybody. So I'm getting off track, my friends. I will go ahead and round up now. Want to tell you I'm here online, live streaming 1:00 Central, Tuesday and Thursday, almost without fail, except if I'm on vacation. And I don't live stream during vacation because, Wi-Fi. Anyway, I won't be taking one till November, so we're cool. I am here 1:00 every Tuesday, Thursday. I'm also on Alexa. Hey, if you're friends with Alexa, so am I. We are the bot signal on Alexa. There's a flash briefing there for you in the mornings if you want one. And also got a podcast of the same name. If you prefer audio, I'm your best friend there as well. So I'm on Anchor FM and wherever you listen to podcasts. So thanks for joining me today. You guys, this has been a great show. This has been a great show, and we will have more of this. Meanwhile, hop on into my bot if you want to chat with me. And that's it, my friends. That's it for today. Oh, and if you want to get show reminders, type live in the comments. Type live, and my bot will take you through a little process. You'll get a little 15-minute reminder when I'm about to go online. And that helps the busy folks stay in touch. So thanks again. And I'll see you in a bot.